You know, every day someone accuses me of spreading hyperbole when it comes to Donald Trump. They'll say that I'm getting everybody worked up and stoked up over nothing, when really all I'm doing is just pointing out the things that he says. And of course, I get hit with, well, you didn't understand what he said, or he really didn't mean it that way, or you took it out of context, or he did mean it, but that's okay. He has a right to say whatever he wants to say. We go back and forth with these people all the time. But I would argue that Donald Trump's entire platform is nothing but fear and hyperbole. If he didn't have fear, paranoia, conspiracy theories to fuel his base, he would be completely out of gas. And for those that disagrees with me, I want you to take a look at this next clip and listen to the fear, the misinformation, and the hyperbole that the dude is spreading. Roll the clip.
And we could talk about inflation, which is the worst in 57 years. We could talk about the economy, which is terrible, except for a very elite few people. It's terrible. But between those two things, I mean, you look, if you didn't make a fortune, if you didn't go up 120%, you're losing. You're way behind because inflation, bacon, 4 times the cost of what it was 3 years ago. Think of it. Groceries are through the roof. Energy is through the roof. And by the way, going up again. Inflation now is going up again. And they're going to lower interest rates because they want to try and get through this election, which is having a hard time because every single poll says that we're leading in the election. Now, don't get too excited because they cheat like hell. That's all they're good at. Misinformation, disinformation, and cheating.
So low information, misinformation, and cheating. He really wants to go there. Again, every accusation from these people are a confession as to who they really are. And you would have to be a total moron to believe that bacon has went up 4 times the price that it was in 2020. Anyone who's been to the grocery store in the last couple of days knows that that's bullshit. It was fact-checked really quick, and I said to myself, I really don't have to read this because I shop and I eat bacon, and I know that bacon ain't 4 times the price that it was in 2020. Back in 2020, the average price of bacon was $5.83 a pound. Today, it's $6.77 a pound. So Donald Trump is either lying or he really sucks at math, one or the other. But he will go out there and continue to push this shit. And it's funny to me how he says they want to lower interest rates because they want to run on that like they're doing a good thing. Meanwhile, they will stand back and tell you to your face that they're not going to fix the border because they want him to run on it. So they're mad at Joe Biden for fixing something that he can run on, but they're okay with the guy for not fixing something so he can run on that. Can someone make that make sense to me? And can someone make this next clip make sense? Because to me, it's nothing more than fear and hyperbole. Take a look.
You look at Venezuela, you look at some of these countries, their crime rates are way down. Venezuela's crime now is down 67% from last year because they took all of their criminals and crime members and gang members and drug dealers and they put them into the United States of America. But this is happening with many countries. And frankly, if I ran a country, I'd be doing the exact same thing. They're emptying their prisons and jails. They're emptying their mental institutions and insane asylums. You know, somebody said, what's the difference? I said, insane asylum is on steroids. That's Silence of the Lambs. Did anybody see that lovely little movie? Hannibal Lecter, right? This is Hannibal Lecter. Welcome to Hannibal Lecter, because we got a lot of them right now coming into our country and already came into our country. We cannot allow this to happen. We can't let our country be destroyed. I've never seen anything like.
So he just said what we have here is Hannibal Lecter, but I'm the one spreading hyperbole. I'm the one getting people living in fear. I mean, this guy stands up and it's always the insane asylums, the worst of the drug dealers, the worst of people, the worst of humanity is what's coming here. Oh, and by the way, if I was president, I would be sending people away too. He sits there and says those things and people cheers. But he wants to talk about crime going up. Well, the murder rate has dropped. In 2023, the murder rate dropped 13%. That is the single largest decline since 1960. In Trump's final year in office, 2020, murder rate went up 30%. But he won't tell them that because he knows all he has to do is keep pushing the fear, pushing the propaganda, and they'll buy into it. And if the fear-mongering don't work, he can always play one of his favorite hits, which is to find a way to make fun of Joe Biden. Roll this clip.
We're going to get out there. We're fighting like crazy. We've challenged him to a debate. We said, let's go. Let's go, Joe. I don't think he's going to debate. I don't think. And we want drug tests, too, if we do a debate. We're recommending drug tests because he was all jacked up the other night. And you know, there's a reason when you look at all that cocaine. What happened to the cocaine? They had a lot of cocaine. Isn't that amazing? So it's in a little booth. I knew them well because people would come in. They sit in these booths. There's fingerprints all over the booth. There wasn't one fingerprint in the booth. That means somebody walked in there and did a big number. There wasn't a fingerprint, but I don't know. You know, you hear about that. I think maybe that's what a terrible thing where they said we just can't find the person that put it there, and we have no idea who wanted it. I think I know who wanted it. So look.
So he can always rely on playing that hit. It will work with his audience every time. If we debunk him with facts and evidence, he can always come out and just make fun of Joe Biden and it'll work. And it's truly disgusting that he has an audience sitting there laughing at that crap and people cheering for that crap. You know, the Republican Party once upon a time was the party of my grandfathers. And I can't imagine either grandfather being okay with someone just sitting back and disrespecting a president like that. But they don't think things through before they say it, because one minute they tell us he's Sleepy Joe. The next minute they tell us he's Stuttering Joe, that he falls down, that he doesn't know where he is. But then when he comes out and gives a good speech, oh, he must be jacked up on cocaine. They can never just stop and ever entertain the idea of giving the guy credit. And they can never stop and entertain the idea of reaching across the aisle and shaking his hand and working with him. They have to keep pushing their fear and hyperbole. What we have to do is keep pushing a voice of reason, because that's what we have. We have facts and evidence on our side. And at the end of the day, we're going to be on the right side of history. Now, I know I get repetitive with a whole lot of my talking points. I say a lot of the same things in each video. That's because there's new listeners appearing here every day, discovering me for the first time. And also because in my 25 years as a musician, there's one thing that I learned. And that is the reason that songs become standards is because they got drilled in people's head. People would walk up and request the same old songs, and my fellow musicians and myself would go, God, I'm so tired of playing these standards. Well, the reason they became standards is because somebody drilled them in people's head. DJs just kept playing those hits over and over until they got stuck in someone's head. And so what we're going to do is we're going to sit here between now and the election, and we're going to keep drilling these talking points in people's heads because they need to be said. Donald Trump is all about fear and hyperbole. He is about working up his base and getting them riled. He don't need facts and evidence, but we have it on our side. We need to keep repeating it and keep saying, hey, those people are ready to vote. They're inspired to vote. They're going to vote this time. They're ready for him to run again in 2028 and do completely away with the 22nd Amendment. That's what we're up against. And now we need to keep repeating those talking points till people understand just what's on the line here. Donald Trump, at the end of the day, has no real substance. There's no real substance to anything he's actually saying. And that's what's so sad about it. He gets people so worked up with these things, but he actually promises them nothing. He makes promises, but he never delivers on them. All that he's actually given them is empowerment. All he's actually given them is feeling better about owning a lib, but it ain't helping them pay their bills. And none of these fear tactics are ever going to appear on their front door. It's a sad world we're living in. But we're on the right side of history, and we have to remember that. But the next time they try to accuse us of fear and hyperbole, just go back and show them all the clips of Donald Trump's rallies, because that is the perfect illustration of what fear and hyperbole truly is.